Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the newest regional Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, Stonjourner. Stonjourner is a regional Pokemon exclusive to England. Now, of course, I don't live in England. However, when I traveled to Baltimore to be one of the casters for the Baltimore Regional Championships, one of the competitors there, Tomahawk UK, who's from England, flew over to compete and, thankfully enough, traded me Stonjourner. Stonjourner is a pure rock-type Pokemon with the moveset of Rock Throw, Stomp, and Stone Edge. So the moveset doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, but we're not going to let that stop us. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and take a look at Stonjourner in action in the Open Great League. And we're off to a terrific start in the first match, leading Superior into Dunsparce, and the opponent is not switching out. This means there's something in the back that is also weak to Superior. The opponent throws on alignment there, giving Superior a free Vine Whip. They throw the Rock Slide, and they throw the second back-to-back. They've now given me 2 free Vine Whips, and I'm very happy to get free energy here. I'm going to farm up quite a bit. I don't trust the Aerial Ace to knock out, so I'm going to guarantee the knockout with the Frenzy Plant. Opponent is probably going to be sending in their grass counter now, so I'm going to look to switch out. In comes Talonflame. I switch into the Miltank. In the back is Azumarill, and this game is over. We bait out the Azumarill. We can handle it with the Miltank and the Superior, and then that poor Talonflame is about to get rock thrown into smithereens by Stonjourner. Azumarill Play Rough is the opposite of a problem for Miltank. Miltank over farming, firing off this Thunderbolt. Azumarill is going to let that through. They get KO'd. In comes the Talonflame, and now it's time. In comes Stonjourner. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. We move to the next match, Superior into Shadow Sandslash, a devastating lead. Immediate save switch to the Miltank. They're staying, they're throwing, and they throw on alignment. I get a free rollout on that Miltank. Ice Punch connects. In comes Azumarill, and this game, despite the terrible lead, is suddenly going very, very well for me. I was able to get a little bit of damage on the Sandslash. They wasted their energy. I bait out the water type, and now I'm going to be able to either KO it or pressure a shield. Miltank honestly putting in a tremendous amount of work core breaking this team. They're going to go for an Ice Beam and a Farm Down. I'm going to bring in Superior because I know that I can survive an Ice Beam. Superior, a very, very bulky grass type, where Stonjourner is taking absolutely 0 hits and needs all the help that it can get. But I baited out the water, so the hope is that they're going to be weak to Rock Throw in the back. Frenzy Plant picks up the KO. They're going to bring back in the Sandslash, and when they do, it's going to be Stonjourner time. In comes the Sandslash, met with Stonjourner. That's not what I was hoping to see. In the back is Feraligatr. Feraligatr is going to fire off energy. I tried to click the Stomp there, but I clicked it a little bit too late. I'm going to look to farm. I click the Stomp. I didn't see a sneak. Does Stonjourner win CMP over Feraligatr? Oh my goodness. Stonjourner, I just checked, it barely wins CMP over Feraligatr. Stonjourner now needs the farm down, gets the perfect farm down. Stonjourner makes the Stone Edge. This thing has a truly atrocious moveset, but in this game, it does not matter. It KOs the Sandslash and takes the win. We got a tough lead in the next match. Superior versus Charjabug. The save switch to Miltank. Opponent responds with Malamar. This is not an amazing spot to be in here. They did give me a pretty healthy energy head start, but Malamar can just take hits. Opponent throws on poor timing there. They do give me a rollout for free. They go for the foul play. Foul play, not going to knock out. And now I'm hoping to potentially threaten a knockout here because I have a lot of energy on this Miltank. Body Slam's going to land. I go for another Body Slam. This will be very close to KOing, if not knockout. It is going to get shielded by the opponent. Opponent tries for the farm down, but Miltank is too spammy, making it to another Body Slam. Opponent lets it go, and Miltank wins switch advantage and a shield advantage. In comes Stonjourner. Stonjourner going to be hit with a discharge from the Charjabug. And that just does so much damage. Stonjourner is an absolute wet napkin of a Pokemon. Shielding up the discharge. In the back is Azumarill, and I cannot believe they gave up switch advantage knowing they had an Azumarill and I had a Superior. But they just really misplayed that mid-game. And now, yeah, they're just going to concede the match as there is no longer a win con. We move to the next match, leading Superior into Morpeko. This is a good lead for Superior. They're in their electric form, which means I'm in a pretty nice spot here. I'm going to look to go for a bait as they're likely to shield, but they catch on Cresselia, and suddenly I highly regret baiting. Because, of course, they're not going to be shielding the Cresselia, which means that my Aerial Ace does basically no damage, and Cresselia emerges very, very healthy. I'm going to land a Frenzy Plant, bank a tiny little bit of energy, and now I finally switch out into the Miltank. Our switch timers are heavily misaligned, but I honestly feel okay about this just because Miltank is very good at absorbing energy from the Cresselia. Cresselia is going to be firing off another charge attack, but Miltank well equipped to absorb this damage. Miltank going for the Body Slam, and I'm going to hope for a Body Slam into a rollout farm down here. The Body Slam is going to get Cresselia low, and here I didn't want to risk it. I had lost count. I was worried they were getting to a move, so I'm just going to go for the Body Slam to guarantee the KO. In comes Morpeko. Morpeko going to be hit with a Body Slam here unless they decide to shield. They do decide to shield. They're looking for the farm down, but Miltank makes another move. Miltank, definitely the reason why this team is having any success. I aggressive switch into Stonjourner, and I'm fine just fully sacrificing it. I'm just going to no-shield it. Aura Wheel barely does not KO. We throw away the Stonjourner, and that ends up paying off as it's in a Azumarill in the back, and we're just in a winning position with Superior. I don't have to shield an Ice Beam here. Ice Beam, not something that would be enough to knock out, but at this point, it's the move that's going to do the most damage, because when they bring back in Morpeko, even if Morpeko can get a move, it would be the electric move, so that's not going to do a lot of damage. So here, I will go for the Aerial Ace. Opponent is going to shield. I try for a catch. I don't get the catch, but it's not going to matter. Morpeko's not getting a move. Azumarill gets farmed down, and we're able to take the win. We've got a battle of the casters in the next match, myself versus Speediest Chief, and what a terrible lead, Superior into Dragonite. I save switch Miltank. There's no counter switch here. He's staying in. Body Slam shielded up. This Dragonite farming up a ton of energy, and I will respect a potential superpower. Speedy is going to full send the superpower. He's going to switch out now into Gastrodon, and I cannot tell you how relieved I am to not have this Gastrodon aligned against Stonjourner. I'm thinking about potentially switching into the Superior here because the switch timers are heavily misaligned. However, if I do that, I'm worried that my opponent is just going to end up throwing two Body Slams, burning the clock, and I'd be right back with Superior on Dragonite. So instead, I just decide to let the Miltank go and instead bring in Superior. Superior going to be hit with an Earth Power. There's a switch out to Shadow Dragonite, and I will go for the Aerial Ace to hopefully pick up the knockout or force the final shield. Aerial Ace is going to get the shield. In comes Stonjourner. Stonjourner looking for the farm down, but Dragonite says no. Dragonite makes the superpower. That forces my final shield. The Gastrodon is still around, and I really do not want it making a move. Look at the Mud Slaps. I cannot afford to take this damage, so I will get to the stomp, pick up the knockout. In the back is a Shadow Fortress. Fortress looking for the farm down here, and I should have clicked the stomp. I didn't click the stomp. I thought he was going to farm down and I could get one extra and the stomp. In comes the Superior. And once we see this Aerial Ace land, this Aerial Ace puts it in a range where a stomp would have KO'd. Stomp does 18%. So if I just clicked the stomp there, I could have won the game. But unfortunately, I didn't. So the game will end in defeat. We see a familiar but terrible lead, Superior versus the Alolan Sandslash. It is the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. This opponent, again, bringing in a Azumarill. I don't know if people are just not expecting the Thunderbolt, but Thunderbolt is just doing so much damage to these Water-type switch-ins. Azumarill going to lose the CMP tie here. Miltank unleashing Thunderbolt number 2. And, oh, it looks like the opponent may have lagged a turn there because I didn't see a Bubble Sneak. So it looks like they may have lagged the turn there, which is a bit unfortunate. So it wasn't the CMP tie. Miltank is going to get a very healthy farm down. Sandslash is just going to throw their energy here. And at this point, I mean, they win the CMP tie even if I did click my move. So I'm just going to let that go and instead just save shields for Stonjourner because I'm just trying to farm things down. Last time I saw this team, it was Feraligatr in the back, and that's what it is again. Feraligatr, this is going to be tricky. I'm going for the Aerial Ace, hoping my opponent is just going to no-shield here, but they realize that even an Aerial Ace would put them in farm down range, so there's no getting out of that situation. Tough call to make. I shield. I do get it right. I shield the Ice Beam, but This game is just going to come down to, is the Alolan Sandslash in Rock Throw farm down range? And my opponent is just going to let that through. They CMP tie, and I don't think this is Rock Throw down range. It's going to be close. Come on, Stonjourner. I can't throw. I have to commit to the farm. I click on the stomp. This is a CMP tie, but they're not on 1 HP. Every shielded charge move does 1 HP of damage, but they have more than 1 HP, so it does not KO through the shield. They knock me out with a drill run, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. Hopping into the next match, Superior, as always, so good on the lead, but this time leading into a low kick's not where it wants to be. Save switch into Miltank. Opponent is going to respond with a water gun lantern. Oh my goodness, talk about a blast from the past. I haven't seen a lantern in ages. Miltank going to start firing off these body slams at the lantern. Lantern is going to go for the Surf. Surf, of course, this season does do more damage, but costs more energy as well. Firing off another body slam. I'm wondering if a body slam into a Thunderbolt will allow me to win switch. Because obviously, they know they can survive a body slam, but that's why I'm trying to sneak a Thunderbolt past a shield here. The Thunderbolt, it lands. The rollout KOs. That switch advantage obtained. And that's very, very good for me. Are they going to bring back in the low kicks? No, they bring out Toxapex. Oh my goodness, I really need them to no-shield this Thunderbolt. If they no-shield the Thunderbolt, the game's over, and they do. And now, with that damage landed, they're basically in frenzy range on Superior. They're going to bring in low kicks, and I'm just going to bring in Stonjourner, and look at the rock throws go. Stonjourner shielding up the Trailblaze from the low kicks desperately trying to make it to another move, but Stonjourner says not today. Stonjourner firing off the Stomp. Stomp, I mean, it's going to do less than no damage. Stomp is a very terrible move, but from here, I can just let this go. They're forced to throw energy. Brine will KO, but Superior can very comfortably make it to double Frenzy Plant. And my opponent, I mean, their only win con realistically is to Hail Mary a Sludge Wave and just hope that I try and call a bait. But as I know, they can't bait and make it to the Sludge Wave, so it's a very safe shield for me because I will always be able to get to the Frenzy Plant and take the win. So we have seen a couple bad leads that we were able to convert into wins. I would say that's in large part to Miltank. Stonjourner, unfortunately, I mean, it's doing its best, but it's not doing a lot. All right, another Alolan Sandslash lead. My goodness, Superior just getting bullied when it comes to the leads. Again, the save switch into the Miltank. Opponent will go for the drill run. Out comes the Azumarill, and this was just all that I saw during this day of battles was Alolan Sandslash Azumarill core. It would have been great if the Sandslashes were in the back, but they were just all on the lead. I go for the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt will not KO here. My opponent can survive that damage, and they will. So they're going to no shield. Ice Beam knocks out the Miltank. I can go for farm on Superior. And then when they bring in the Sandslash, it is going to be Stonjourner time. In comes the Sandslash, answered with Stonjourner. These rock throws do add up over time, and I'm going to be shielding everything as Stonjourner is pretty glassy. In the back, it's Feraligatr, and I have now seen this team, I think it's 3 times today. My goodness, I don't know who made this team, but it is clearly all that I saw on that day. I'm going to go for a Stomp here. Stomp, I mean, it would come close to knocking out. Opponent will commit the shield, but they're just going to throw right away. Wait, but suddenly, there's a win con here. If I can Vine Whip down in 5, I think I can win this game, and I can. I get the perfect farm down because they are not in a range where they can knock me out with Ice Punch. It'll be close, but I can survive it. I'm going to fire off Frenzy Plants here. I CMP tie them, and if I live this, which I should, because I'm just not in a range where I get KO'd, I think this Frenzy can knock out. Frenzy into the Sandslash. They barely tank it, and the game ends in a tie. You know what? A tie isn't as bad as a loss elo-wise, so I will take it. We get an amazing lead leading into Marowak. Opponent save switches to Licky Licky. And honestly, I don't have a hard counter to a Licky Licky save switch. I mean, I can stay in with the Superior, but then my backline just gets absolutely crushed by the Marowak. So I think what I'm going to do is just stay in with Serp to land a Frenzy Plant. And now suddenly this is way more manageable for me to bring in the Miltank. Miltank more than happy to tank whatever they throw here. Opponent is going to go for the Earthquake, and that does some pretty solid damage. I'm going to return fire with the Body Slam. Body Slam will come very close to knocking out here, and it does. They will get KO'd. Now, Miltank, of course, can learn Ice Beam. Ice Beam would hit for super effective damage, so I farm up, but the opponent has zero fear. They are not respecting it whatsoever, and now I'm at back-to-back Body Slams on the Miltank. Miltank firing off the body slam. That is going to land, and another body slam reached as well. Miltank honestly putting in a ton of work against the Marowak. In the back is Drifblim, and Trainer, I am so sorry. Stonjourner and his goofy self is about to fully farm down. The Icy Wind is going to be shielded. Actually, you know what? With the debuff from the Icy Wind, I don't think I can quite farm down, so we'll go for the Stomp. Stomp is going to be shielded, and from here, I'm actually just going to let this go. I don't want to give farm to the Marowak. Instead, I'm just going to get farm on Superior. I get a nice little Vine Whip farm down. They're going to fire off their energy, but even a Rock Slide won't KO here. So I no shield. They go for the Rock Slide, but they're the non-Shadow, and the non-Shadow just doesn't have the damage output necessary. Superior gets to go for the Aerial Ace. They realize, unfortunately, there's just no win con, and they will let that through. Hopping into the final match, Superior versus Morpeko. We have seen this lead before. Last time they did end up catching out of this matchup. They caught an Aerial Ace. They're going to try and catch. They bring in Goodra, and this is not great. I don't have a good response to Goodra. I fire off a Frenzy Plant just to get a little bit of damage. Even though Frenzy Plant is resisted, it is going to do more damage than an Aerial Ace, and then I just bring in Miltank. Miltank, absorbing that damage, no problem. I do have back-to-back Body Slam stored, and one Body Slam is not going to be enough to deliver a knockout onto Goodra. Goodra is going to let that through there. Goodra firing off their energy. It looks like that was actually a CMP tie there, so I did end up triggering the Body Slam. I do go for an Undercharge, hoping I can get an extra rollout, but I do not get there. Opponent, if they send back in the Morpeko, that'll be fine because I'm going to be able to get some body slams on this thing. They actually bring in a Azumarill. I'm farming up. I try and go for the Thunderbolt. My move just doesn't register, and they get to switch into Morpeko. Morpeko is going to go for the Psychic Fangs there. They now transform forms, and I bring in Stonjourner. Stonjourner, I will be shielding, as unfortunately Aura Wheel just does so much damage. And I'm going to look to try and go for a farm down. They get a Psychic Fangs, but a Psychic Fangs is something that I can actually survive. Oh no, I miscounted. That's an Aura Wheel. Oh, disastrous for me. The miscount there. And now it's a Azumarill versus Superior in the endgame. I'm going to be firing off this Aerial Ace bait, and the bait is successful. Honestly, I don't even think the bait was necessary. In the moment, I thought the bait was required, but as it turns out, I tanked the Ice Beam slightly better than I realized. So I should be able to withstand the bubbles and make it to the double Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant number 1 is going to be shielded, and Superior gets to Frenzy Plant number 2. I even overfarmed to throw on good timing just to prove that my bait was completely unnecessary. We land the Frenzy, Vine Whip down, and take the win. All in all, Stonjourner, it definitely is a Pokemon that you can use in the Go Battle League. Is it a good one? Absolutely not. Mono Rock typing, not good. Its moveset across the board is just very bad, but honestly, considering it's a regional Pokemon, I honestly don't mind that it's kind of bad, because obviously if they turn it into this like top meta threat and only people in England had it, that would be a bit of a problem. So honestly, I don't mind that they get to release a bit of a goofy Pokemon, make it a regional, and then make it have such a poor moveset that it ends up being quite the struggle to get wins with it. Overall, I did go negative on the day with it. I initially tried a team with the Dugong safe switch instead of Miltank, and that team did not go very well. I think I went 0-4 with it. After I switched over to the Miltank, I think I went 10 wins, 10 losses, and a tie. So I surprisingly went even with the team. So overall, I would say Miltank definitely put the team on his back today, because my goodness, Stonjourner, man, its charge moves are just really not what it's hoping for. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.